haven't played Red Dead Redemption since the game launched back in 2010. Today I'm playing it again 15 years later, and I'm going to get the Platinum Trophy. I remember this game being incredible at the time, and I can't wait to play it again. The game has 52 trophies in total, 10 of these are related to the Undead Nightmare DLC, and the rest for the main game with a few overlapping into both. And to begin, we start with the story. John Marston, a former outlaw seeking redemption, is forced into a dangerous mission by government agents Edgar Ross and Archer Fordham, who hold his wife Abigail and son Jack hostage. Their demand is clear: eliminate his old gang members, starting with Bill Williamson, now leading a violent gang at Fort Mercer.
Bill Williamson! Come out here right now!
When John attempts to reason with Williamson, he is met with violence and left for dead.
Well...
Oh. Poor Jim.
Fortunately, Bonnie McFarlane, a rancher from New Austin, rescues him and nurses him back to health. And upon completion, we get the That Government Boy trophy for completing the intro. John remains at Bonnie McFarlane's ranch, working to repay her kindness while forging new alliances in the town of Armadillo and beyond. John earns Bonnie's trust and becomes a reliable figure in the community.
My cause is to keep this town from turning into a living hell for the folks who live here.
He also begins working with Marshall Lay Johnson, the town's aging but determined lawman, alongside his deputies Eli and Jonah, to combat crime in the region. John also meets the eccentric snake oil salesman Nigel West Dickens.
Mr. West Dickens, Nigel West Dickens of Eastcheap, London, New Waverly, New York, and Armadillo, New Austin, at your service.
The drunken grave robber Seth Briers.
I ain't washed in 6 months. My hair falling out, my mind's going.
And the shady arms dealer Irish.
I can't thank you enough for taking care of those two degenerates. Untrustworthy, poor in personal hygiene.
All of whom he recruits in his planned attack on Fort Mercer. With his team assembled, John and his allies prepare for the assault.
Ensconce yourself in the back of my wagon, John, so that we can make our grand entrance.
Using one of Nigel West Dickens's miracle tonics as a ruse, they approach the gates in the fort inside a wagon. The gang initially allows them to enter, but as soon as John and his allies reveal their true intentions, a chaotic gunfight erupts. However, as the dust settles, they realise that Williamson has already fled, escaping across the border into Mexico.
Mr. Marston, we got a live one. He says, Bill's already run off to Mexico yesterday morning.
Although John has failed to capture his target, he now knows where to find him. And with no other choice, he sets his sights south, preparing to journey into a land filled with even greater danger. And upon completion of the attack on Fort Mercer, we gain the Land of Opportunity trophy. Crossing the border, John finds himself in a land torn apart by a civil war between the corrupt Colonel Allende, leader of the Mexican army, and Abraham Reyes, a revolutionary seeking to overthrow him. John is manipulated by both sides as Luisa Fortuna, a young rebel devoted to Reyes, enlists his help, while Allende's right-hand man, Captain Vicente de Santa, uses him to suppress the rebellion. John continues his mission in Mexico, now focused on locating Javier Escuela, another former member of the Van der Linde gang. Escuela, now working for Colonel Allende, is hiding somewhere in the region, and John is forced to endure betrayal after betrayal while hunting him down.
Gracias for your service to this land.
After being besieged by Captain De Santa, John ultimately allies with Abraham Reyes, and the rebels storm Escuela's hideout. After an intense battle, John captures Escuela and hands him over to the authorities.
One day's about all you got left.
You've done well, Mr. Marston. Now, Javier here gets to see how far the hand of justice can reach.
And upon completion, we get the trophy Sons of Mexico. With the rebels growing stronger, Abraham Reyes leads an assault against Colonel Allende and Bill Williamson, who have fortified themselves in the town of Escalara. After a fierce battle, Allende betrays Williams and attempts to flee, but John and Reyes capture and execute them both. Marking a major victory for Reyes' revolution. And with Williamson gone, John believes his mission is at an end and heads to Blackwater to meet up with the government agents. And after the assault, we gain the trophy at no more fancy words. With Williamson and Escuela gone, John travels north to West Elizabeth, where Dutch van der Linde has formed a new gang of outcasts and disenfranchised Native Americans. John is now under the direct command of Edgar Ross and Archer Fordham, who have no intention of letting him walk away until Dutch is eliminated.
You gave us Williamson and Escuela. We still don't have van der Linde, but now we know where he is.
Then go and shoot him.
No, sir. I want you to shoot him for me.
With the assistance of Professor Harold McDougall, an eccentric academic studying North American culture, John learns more about Dutch's growing radicalism and his guerrilla war against the US government. As John infiltrates Dutch's operations, he struggles with his conflicted feelings. Dutch was once a father to him, and yet John knows that the man he admired no longer exists. And it's during these missions where we unlock the trophy, A Savaged Soul. John, now fully under the government's control, takes part in a full-scale military assault on Dutch van der Linde's hideout in the mountains. The battle is grueling as Dutch's gang fights fiercely to defend their leader. But with the assistance from Edgar Ross and Archer Fordham with the United States Army, John finally corners Dutch inside his hideout.
I got a plan, John. You always got a plan, Dutch.
Dutch, knowing his time has come, delivers a cryptic warning that the government will never truly let John go before choosing to take his own life.
Our time has passed, John.
With the Dutch gone, John is finally free from his past, or so he believes. Returning home to his family, he hopes that his life of bloodshed is finally behind him. And upon completion of the assault, we gain the trophy, The Benefits of Civilization. Back at Beech's Hope, John finally reunites with his wife Abigail and his son Jack, as well as his old friend Uncle, an aging and lazy ranch hand.
No cattle.
That's a nice way to greet somebody.
Together, they work to rebuild their ranch, and John attempts to teach Jack the values of hard work rather than the violence of his past. But just as John starts to believe in a peaceful future, Edgar Ross and Archer Fordham return with the US Army, revealing their true intentions. They were never going to let John walk away. And in a heartbreaking final stand, John fights off waves of soldiers to protect his family, only to be gunned down in a brutal execution. Years after John's death, Jack Marston has grown into a young man, hardened by the loss of his family. And as he overlooks the grave of his father and mother, he only has one thing in mind: revenge. And upon completion, we gain the trophy, Into the Sunset. So with the final mission and the main story left to play, we go ahead and collect everything else we need for the 100% trophy. 100% on Red Dead Redemption is actually quite short compared to the Grand Theft Auto games, only needing the following: completing all the story missions, 20 bounties, and this also gains us the Clemency Pays trophy for collecting one of these, purchasing all 5 rare weapons, we gain the Exquisite Taste trophy for buying one of these, obtaining 9 outfits, and we gain the He Cleans Up Well trophy for purchasing the Elegant Suit, completing 5 side jobs, completing all 8 gang hideouts, and this unlocks 3 trophies, Austin Overpowered for completing the Twin Rocks, Pikes Basin, and Gaptooth Breach hideouts, Evil Spirits for completing Tumbleweed and Tesoro Azul hideouts, Instinto Assassino for completing Fort Mercer and the Nosalida hideout. We need to purchase every single safe house. We need to play and win all of the mini-games, and we gain another 3 trophies here. The first being What About Hand Grenades for getting a ringer in Horseshoes, High Roller for winning 2,000 chips in a single hand of poker, and No Dice for completing a game of Liar's Dice without losing a single die. We need to discover all 94 locations. This gives us the On the Trail of Devaka trophy. We need to complete all 4 challenge lists. This also gives us the Frontiersman trophy for getting one of these challenges to level 10. And finally, we need to complete all the Stranger missions. There's 18 of these in total, and we unlock 3 trophies. Strange things are afoot for completing a single Stranger mission. People are still strange for completing 15 Stranger missions. And the last trophy will be the last thing we complete before the Platinum. So we're going to leave that one till a bit later. But now we start the Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare DLC. And we begin with the story.
Uncle! You dumb son of a bitch! Stop!
John Marston's world is turned upside down when a zombie plague sweeps across the land, infecting his wife Abigail and son Jack.
But I'm going to get help. Stay calm.
Determined to find a cure, John travels across New Austin and Mexico, encountering old allies like Nigel West Dickens, Seth Briers,
Oh, boo-hoo! Big tough John Marston is scared a little undead creature walking around.
all while battling hordes of the undead. His search leads him to an ancient Aztec tomb where he discovers that the outbreak was caused by a sacred mask being stolen.
He heard there was a mask hidden there that would make him invincible.
After returning the mask to its rightful place, the undead are laid to rest and John returns home.
There you are. Hell, whenever trouble starts, I can pretty much guarantee you'll ride off into the sunset.
However, the mask is stolen yet again by Seth, and John rises from the dead. And it's during these missions we gain the following trophies: the Downward Spiral, Judge a Man by the Superior Dance, and All's Right with the World. And we have a few other non-story trophies left over from the DLC. Spinning Plates for having every territory saved at the same time, Mad Marston the Trail Warrior for attaining rank 5 in all undead challenges, Fan Service for taming a unicorn, Chupa Thingy for hunting a Chupacabra, 6 years in the making for hunting a Sasquatch, and finally Zed's Dead Baby for 100% completion of the Undead Nightmare DLC. And with Undead Nightmare done, we go back to the main game and finish up some more miscellaneous trophies. Buckin' Awesome, Break the Kentucky Saddler, the American Standardbred, and the Hungarian Half-Bred horses. These include Fighting Around the Worlds for knocking someone out in melee in every saloon in the game, Dastardly, place a hog-tied woman on the train tracks and witness her death by train, Barely Legal, kill and skin 18 grizzly bears, More Than a Fistful for earning $10,000, The Gunslinger for scoring a headshot on an enemy using expert targeting mode, Man of Honor / Chivalry's Dead for attaining the highest fame rank and either the highest honor rank or lowest honor rank, Gold Medal for earning a gold medal during a combat mission, Manifest Destiny for killing the last buffalo in the Great Plains, Friends in High Places for using a pardon letter with a bounty of more than $5,000, Spurred to Victory for completing 10 story missions without switching to a new horse, Heading South on a white Bronco, evade the US Marshals while riding the Hungarian half-bred horse, mowing them down for killing 500 enemies with a mounted weapon, in a hail of bullets for killing 500 enemies with a pistol or a revolver, Long Arm of Marston for killing 500 enemies with a rifle repeater or a shotgun, Bullseye for getting 250 headshots, Unnatural Selection for killing one of every animal species in the game, Axemaster for completing all the Tomahawk challenges, and Master Exploder for completing all the Explosive Rifle challenges. And with everything else done, we are finally ready to complete the game, through an old work colleague, his wife, and finally his brother.
Now get out of here before I kill you as well.
I ain't going nowhere, old man.
We find Edgar and challenge him to a duel in which we finally take him out. Avenging Jack's father and ending the game. And after the credits roll, we get the following trophies. Nurture or Nature for completing the final Stranger mission. Redeemed for 100% completion, and finally, Legend of the West, the Platinum Trophy. And if you're still here at the end, thanks for watching. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to be doing after Red Dead, but hopefully I'll have another video out afterwards.